Dan, my man, are you here? Oh, Mike, all right. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Matt, with Patriot Hobbies, thank you for stopping by. It's so good to see everybody again. Trust me, guys. That's why I'm coming on early, is because I knew that once I saw that Dan, I came back in from feeding the dogs. And yeah, anyway, long story short, I decided to go ahead and here, let me get rid of the phone. I was making sure that it all worked too. That way, if there was any issues, I could try to take care of them. Yes, ta da! He does live. Yes. So, hey, that's another reason why whenever I saw that you had logged in here, man, um, I wanted to talk to you while we were here about what's going on with that 440. Now, what I was saying is maybe switching the factory armature in that specific car that you changed the motor magnets in, just to see if that made what difference that made on the dyno, and then kind of work your way backwards, like towards the carbon brushes and those springs, because believe it or not, they make um, better carbon brushes for those cars, and they make silver brush springs, and they come with different uh, heights, so it'll put a different tension on the stator as it's rolling around on the with the brushes. So if it's not strong enough, when that thing spins really fast, then those things will try to bounce, but you don't want them too tight, or obviously then it'll try to slow down the motor, and you can tell because it'll really carbon that up a lot and make you have to clean it. So anyway, just some tips. Hey, yes, Zams, yes, thank you for stopping by. Yeah, pancakes. I'm in fact I'm going to be trying to get one of those shirts. It's an exploded view of a pancake motor, and it says "Got pancakes." So yeah. Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah. Oh no, guys, trust me. I got all sorts of good news as far as I've literally finally just I'm going to cut straight to the chase because I'm not going to bore everybody with the boring stuff. um, Signed the lease last night. I'm 2 weeks away from starting to move out of this little place, which means that I'm probably 3 weeks away from having, getting the table up. And then I'll start being able to do a reverse of the packing shows that I did. I'll do unpacking for those people that did miss, as I've put cases on the wall. I'll take them out of their bubble wrap and do that. And then once I have some of my track running, even if it doesn't have the scenery done, I plan on doing a Tyco, a little thing like Dan did, and then I'm going to explain some of those other tips that I've come across in just personal experience, just from running them maybe just a little bit longer than Dan has, and then uh, uh, share what I found that works for me too. And like I said, this is why we do these channels, is so everybody chips in, and then everybody's knowledge base just, and then the next time you talk to somebody, you can help them and expand their knowledge base and just pass it forward. So that's, I got it taught to me, I'm passing it forward to everybody else. And so that's the whole premise behind this thing here. So hey, Dan, no, man, I miss just talking to you and everybody, man. It brings a tear to my eye to see how many people reached out on my first video. I mean, literally, you can see me wallering up. Um, and then the follow up with telling people that I was going to be going live tonight, with my little promo video. So like I said, that just, like I said, it just reinforces. I've had people reach out to me on my personal email, and I'm not going to call anybody out or call anybody for not doing it. I'm just saying that everybody that has reached out either via YouTube or personal, through my email, either way is just as personal to me. That people that I've never met personally care that much about my well-being, and that means a lot to me. That I can mean that much to somebody I've never met in person. So thank you guys for the support. Yeah, yeah. Oh no. So I've been trying to keep up with a lot of dance stuff. I've been trying to watch as many videos as I can, just in between things. Like I said, now that I've had some free time, having to help a TV, help a buddy mom with TV, and then missing Dan's live feed the whole night. By the time I got back, it was literally turning off. I mean, I don't know if you saw my comments, but they were like right after the thing was over. I couldn't have timed it any better if I intentionally tried not to be here on time. But anyway, I've been catching up with a lot of stuff, even comments that people have left and asked questions, and I do apologize for that. But I have replied to everybody as quickly as possible, and I have gotten caught up to, I believe, the last couple of videos. So thank you, everybody that has commented. If you're not here live tonight, please, I encourage you to comment below. Again, I'm back usually within 24, 48 hours. Now that I'm back, I can usually reply to you and get you some solid answers. And if I don't know it, we have plenty of people on this channel and others that I have listed in the bottom of my descriptions of my past two videos, which I strongly suggest if nobody's checked out that description list. Every single channel on there is slot car related, period. So if you're into slot cars, just look in my descriptions, my last two videos, copy, paste it, put it in the YouTube search bar, and there you go. I found a lot of good stuff and a lot of good channels. Not necessarily all of them are still live with new content, but a lot of them are just entertaining if you're flipping through and just wanting to see some different stuff on slot cars. And like I said, this community is all about sharing, and I just think it's kind of neat that every time there's a new channel popping up, and then you find an older one, or it leads you to a suggested video of another channel. I mean, that's what's kick-ass. So that's what tells me slot cars are back. Matt with the Patriot Hobbies, he's the perfect example. Thank you, buddy, for stopping by. His videos are just awesome on how he's sitting there doing the history of Aurora. Watching him and his kids play. That's what this is all about. Him sharing his enthusiasm for the hobby and then passing that down to his kids, and we're getting to see both sides of it. So that's what's really cool to me is there's a future in slot cars, so to speak. Nice, Mike. Yeah. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up here. Yep. Yeah, see, Zims, I've actually had local people reach out to my Scott's House of HO Racing Google business page that are here local in the Springfield, Missouri area. And they're like, where's your track? We'd like to come by and do some racing, or do you have some club races that you can talk to us about? So I know that just in my local community, there's a want for it somewhere. And so I can't wait to try to get my track up, because that was the whole goal is, me and my other buddies to do it. And if I can have other people that want to come by and do it and spread the fun, that's even better. There's I can't remember the exact name, the Indy Slot Car Racing League, or it's in my bottom Indy Slots. If somebody correct me and put it in there, they do exactly what I'm looking to do. Go to somebody else's house on a weekly or bi-weekly basis and run heats and run a race, and then do it point season and do all that stuff. And so that's another reason why I started getting this together. Sorry, gotta get the background going. Indy Slot Car, there it is. Thank you, Matt. Yep. Mike Kristoff. Yep. and guys, yeah, they have been doing this for a long time, and thankfully they filmed it for us to see, and it's just good humor, and you can see where it's just a bunch of guys that get together, that enjoy each other's company, that have a common interest on slot cars, and they have fun with it. And that's the whole gig on this little slot car things. I've been accused of, just trying to make money on it, or just trying to hoard slot cars, whatever. No, I'm doing it to share. And then when people do get to see it, then they know what else is out there, and maybe it sparks them to maybe go in another direction and maybe buy some more cars or buy something similar to what I have, and spread the word. That's what it's all about. 30 years this year. Yeah, see, there you go. Yeah, see, I knew it had been a long time. And they actually gave me a shout out when I subscribed to their channel. And that was because of basically just catching parts of videos from all through the years and just seeing the same group of guys with maybe a few new faces or somebody else drop out, but then they come back and because they just missed it. And it's amazing. I mean, it's pretty cool. The camaraderie that this community has is awesome. I mean, it would, like I said, I drag race, and if you go to those forums, it's pardon my French to anybody that's going to be offended here, but it's a pissing match. Every guy on that just thinks their car is the biggest, the baddest, the fastest, very little support unless it's within their own little circle. You know what I'm saying? This community is completely 180 from that. It's how can I help? What are you looking for? Well, here's what I did and it worked. You might try this. That's what this community is. That community is all about, talking smack and keeping secrets, because let's face it, when you're racing for the kind of money that some of those drag racers do, even non-professionals to semi-professionals, I mean, $50,000, $30,000, that's nothing to scoff at, and so I can understand why, they zip their lip on secrets, so they're not wanting to share how they went faster. And I can understand why, if you spend a lot of money, you'd want to be able to talk some smack to try to get goad somebody else that hadn't spent as much money as you to try to get to bet some money so you can make some more money when you whoop their ass. So, I get it. See, I've thought about that, but Matt with Patriot, but whenever I just cannot stand the Branson traffic, and so just bottom line, I just can't stand it. Now they have made a lot of outer roads and stuff. Do you go to a lot of the older stuff downtown, or have you found something on the outer skirts that you want to share? Yeah, we're still early on the premiere of the Look What Scott's Got stuff here, and so that's why we're just freewheeling it right now. And honestly, that's how all my live feeds are. Is I'm all interactive here. What videos you saw is about the limit of my editing ability. Can't be as bad as Portland traffic. Oh well, I don't know. Now I'm going to throw this at you. I don't know about the streets in Portland because I've never personally been there. But in Branson, you got to remember it's more of a retirement show type for people. I mean, that's what it was originally kind of geared for. And so a lot of older country music stars and performers set up shop during the peak years or peak months of a year and do shows down there and make good money because it just brings everybody into one spot instead of them having to tour, which is kind of like the idea behind Vegas. And but when it brings that older group, I'm not saying that all retirees can't drive, because I've seen some people that could probably outdrive my ass. But let's just say that 9 times out of 10 that there's the issue is the people that are actually driving. It's not that they're bad drivers; it's just that they're slow, or they left their blinker on, or they keep hitting their brakes every second because they're too busy looking at their phone trying to determine if that's where to turn instead of looking at the damn sign on the building that they're looking to turn into the parking lot in the first place. I digress. So, Dan, if you're still on here listening, when you mentioned, I can't remember if it was I believe it was in one of your live feeds, you had mentioned that somebody at Pro Tinkers had spoken to the president or somebody with Auto World that had mentioned that they had not gotten the license renewed for from Mattel to do any more Hot Wheels series cars. Yep. See, I told you I watch your videos, guys. Yeah, I mean, even the live feeds that I'm not even able to join, like I said. So, um, based on that is what you're seeing behind you here. And what do we got here? Oh, we still got time to ramble. Um, So long story short, if you anybody that's on here right now or anybody that's watching this later, which I still have a lot of people view these live feeds, 2 or 3 days or even, months later when I look back, but generally speaking within the same week if they're not joined in immediately. But irregardless, please leave comments, ask questions if you'd like. But if you are a collector and you're on this channel right now, um, anything that says Hot Wheels, since they didn't renew the license, is turned into an instant collectible. Now, I can't tell you when the prices are going to change. I can't tell you by how much. I can just tell you that based on what just happened, that makes every single one of those cars a limited run. And the ones that are even limited run are even more limited run than they were before, because now you don't have to worry about them puking out more of the same thing with different colors. So there you go. And I don't know if it's already been leaked out or what's going on, but I did notice that if you remember one of my look at what Scott's got during my packing videos, um, I'd shown you guys that those two limited Snake and Mongoose Vegas funny cars. And someone's already bumped the price up on those bad boys to $100 a pop, 99.99. That's crazy, but that's how rare those cars are because there's only 750 of those made. Oh, there's the alarm telling me it's 7 o'clock. Better get ready to go to live. Exactly, yeah, exactly with the repaints. But see, they did us all a favor, and I'm going to point out some things I believe that are in these boxes. Um, that what they like to do, which is milk something as far as they can. And if you watched my little preview video, you noticed that there were a couple of different uh, pictures that had the Penguin Mobile, the Scooby Doo Mobile, the Batmobile. All of those pictures that you saw there on that video are all different series, so that if you were a collector, you would have to buy each of those specific cars from that specific series because it has a specific package. So if you are a collector, you want to have everything in that collection. So if there's three, you want three. If there's four, you want four, and so on and so forth. That's why on one of those you saw an A and a B versions, which gives you 6 cars that you have to purchase. I believe it was the Scooby Doo, the Ghostbusters, and a Batmobile. Yeah, yeah, insane. But that keeps them from doing that by what they've done now with not being able to redo the thing with the license with Mattel, aka with the Hot Wheels branded stuff. So they've saved me personally a lot of money, and made everybody that does like to do any collecting the perfect opportunity to jump in before the prices go crazy. As an example, that Candy Striper car. uh, I I mean, I get it. It's a cool looking car, but come on now. I believe I've got one of those series in one of these boxes, and when I get to it, I'll explain what I found on it. See, yeah, duplicates. Oh, I changed the wheel colors. It's a colored chassis. Oh, ooh, really? So you're gonna make me buy 4 cars or 8 cars or 6 cars because you wanna? Yeah, I get it. Yeah, the cartoon blue is. Yep. Hey, Tom. I'm sorry I missed you, man. I'm trying to. ramble on and rip on Auto World and praise Mattel all at the same time for helping everybody out that's a collector. Thank you for joining tonight. I appreciate it, buddy. Long time no talk to. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad I'm back. Like I was telling everybody, you don't realize how much you miss interacting with people when you've been doing it for almost a year, at least once or twice a week, at least. If not on your personal stuff, on their stuff or somebody else's channel or whatever. And then all of a sudden it's just cut because you literally just don't have the time to think. And that's where I was at. All right. Got 9 people already, and it's only 7:03. So, like I always do, because sometimes, like Gale Force Raceway, formerly the mayor, he gets his notifications for some reason. It pushes them out late. I personally haven't even got mine on my phone, and I'm the guy that created the channel and the live stream. So, oh no, I just got it. I apologize. Okay, so sorry, YouTube. My bad. I'll take it back. Don't kick my video off the channel. All right. So let me ask you this, based on the news, Dan, on the Auto World that you broke about, from Slot Valley Racing, that you'd overheard with Brian and Ryan at Pro Tinkers, from the Auto World president. Uh, did that affect any future considerations on purchases on cars that you think that you might want to invest in because you thought they were cool, that in the future that you hope that they're going to be worth more? Yeah, if you can see behind the boxes, I'm taking advantage of my new jobs. I work from home full time now, and uh, they supply you with a couple of monitors. And I thought, well, I took that idea from Dan. Might be pretty cool to throw up some stuff in the background on them instead of a reflection of a selfie light of the dragster Hot Wheels. See, yep, see, that influenced you down the road because, like I said, you're in the hobby now, and you see that the cars just start multiplying like rabbits. Like I believe I left a comment on somebody's that they were showing their collection. They were like, I can't believe I only started with this many, and now look, it's almost 100. I'm like, yep, that's the way it goes because they keep putting out new stuff, and the more you discover old stuff that you like I said, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I gotta have that car. That'll look cool over there. Oh, well, that's the new one. I like that. Oh, I gotta grab that. Yeah, I just next thing you know. Cool. Like I said, I'm gonna give it till 10 after my time. Thank you to everybody that's on the East Coast time, that is staying up a little later. I guess 8 o'clock to watch instead of getting comfy on the TV or the recliner and watching some shows. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's what happened. Yeah, but it just sneaks in, and next thing you know, like I said, I've noticed in if you guys go back in time and look at Dan at Slot Valley Racings, go back in his old videos and look at when he first started getting behind in front of the camera with his mirror behind him and the amount of cars that he had, and then just skip forward every time, like every, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, and watch that just keep growing. Yeah, happen to be boxes show up. Yep, I hear you exactly. Shift into high. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Yeah, nope, that's how it starts, guys. I'm telling you, if you enjoy and you're having fun, uh, honestly, there's a lot of other things I know I could personally do with my money, but I look at it this way: what other things could I do with my money that are going to give me this much enjoyment? I'm just throwing that out there. And this comes from a guy that likes working on cars and races. I dig that, but I dig this too. Like I said, it's two different worlds, and I prefer this world, but I do like driving around and listening to my car. So, and have something to show for it. Exactly. You know, I look back at um, college, and I think I don't know if I spent more money to go to college or if I drank more of it. Either way, I'm glad that I got diagnosed to where I can no longer drink a long time ago. Because who knows, how much more money I'd have literally been recycling alcohol, filtering it in one form, way or another, versus investing it in what I turned it into, which was, put it into car parts and stuff like that. I didn't even realize that's what I'd done, but that's what happened with the extra money that I had from not going to the bars. And buddies would go, "Hey, you gonna go out to the bar drink?" Well, I don't drink, and I don't know if you've ever had to be the designated driver, but when in my town they have a be sober thing where they'll drive you home for free in a taxi if you live in the city limits. So I'm like, yeah, you guys got a free ride home. You don't need me to sit there and babysit you, because that's no fun sitting there while your buddies are hammering them back, and you're like, yeah, starts out cool, but about 4 hours in, then you're like, I want to go home. Yeah, see, Zim's Aquatics and Hobbies. That's what this is all about. I A guy at my former employer, he started watching my videos, and then he asked for a recommendation on a track, and he had a boy and a girl, and he got him a little figure eight, and believe it or not, the little girl loved it more than the little boy did, and she could never get him to race, and so it turned into a hobby, where them racing more than the little boy did, and the only time he'd join in is whenever he got jealous because dad was over there paying attention to sister and not paying attention to him. Hey, Marks, Stock Car Garage, thank you, buddy, for stopping by. I appreciate it. Hey, just in time. All right. So, if like Mark, if you're just now joining in, even if you're not chatting, that's fine. For future people, what I did was, based on the knowledge that Auto World is no longer going to have their license from Mattel, aka for the Hot Wheels license, um, as a collector. And for some of these cars, I would have bought them anyway, but I bought more than one of some versions just because of that very fact, because I am a collector. And since they did lose that license, then that means that every single car or every single item that they had produced with that license that says Hot Wheels has become a collector to the Hot Wheels collectors community. And there are people that are in the slot car world that are Hot Wheels specific type collectors that like collect anything that has to do with Hot Wheels too. Because, like I said, that's how I transitioned into slot cars at a young age, playing with Hot Wheels. And that's all these really are, if you kind of draw the line, is motorized Hot Wheels that you get to control with the trigger. So anyway, that led to the purchases that you see here tonight. And there may be an oddball in here. I'm not sure. Like I said, none of these are open. They're all brand new. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start right here, and we're just going to open it up, and then we'll look at it all together, and I'll answer any questions on anything that I may know, or if I don't know them, then I'm sure there's other people on here smarter than me that will, and we will get them answered. But I'm just as excited, kind of like you guys, because it's um, been a while since I've done this. Been a while since I've gotten to have some time with my slot car friends. and not just friends in general, because that's what I told Dan whenever he reached out was tell all my slot car friends hello and tell them I miss them. Hey, what do you know? I think I started with the oddball right off the bat. Well, that's cool. So after all that hype about buying all this stuff for the Auto World stuff, I got a little a little race, what do they call it? The Racing Warriors electric car. Yeah, I got it for a song and a prayer. Let's see if I can get it up there if it'll. Yeah, it's not clickety clacking or nothing. Here, let me. So it's not something obviously that I'm going to open. It's something that'll obviously go on the wall. And there's the back art. We'll do a little homage to Dan. This is what he does. Everyone seems to like to see the back. What I think is really cool about the older stuff is how they used to put pictures of actual series of different, of that chassis, different cars that you could buy, and encourage you, if you like the one that you had, to maybe you find one on the back that you also want to try to find later and buy. I thought that's a brilliant idea. I mean, I can't count how many times I'd go to the store and look for just a different car so I could look at the back if I didn't like that car, just to see what else they came with. So let's see if we can figure out what year exactly this bad boy is. 1 second here, trying to do some reading. Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 That tells you how much I love the hobby. I mean, this is you don't do this stuff and not love it. I'm trying to find a date. Imported, yeah, I know that. Hong Kong. Oh, there it is, 1986. So there we go. That's why it's kind of rough. But hey, 1986. Come on now. 37 years old. And it's the old cardboard stuff. It's not the plastic stuff other than the bubble right here. And it's still sealed. It's not been opened. It's got a little dent right there, like I said, but it's 37 years old. So I'll give them a break. You mean youngsters? That was funny. All right. So that was a good way to start. And we're going to start with the next one here. Okay. Well, I think I have an idea. I thought I had an idea on the first one. And of all those, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes, I had one chance, 1 out of 6 chances, or, to pull out the one Tyco first. And that's exactly what I did. So, by the way, that's an eBay buy, and they're going to get an excellent score because obviously the packing was good, the bubble wrap was excellent. That's all I can ask for. And it matched the description on eBay. There's the most important part. Besides it not arriving all damaged, I mean, there's a lot of risk nowadays to buying slot cars with the postal service, the way they treat boxes sometimes. All right, so I managed to open the box and then all stuck to the bubble wrap, and then decided to fall all over the floor. All right, so here we go to the like the example that we were going to of how Auto World likes to try to milk the same chassis and design. So this is a whole series of cars. What series is this on the back? Well, it's obviously a Legends of the Quarter Mile collection collect all three. See, there you go, series. And I collect the 4-gear. In case you've not seen any of my previous videos, I would suggest looking at the ones when I'm packing, and you get to see a lot more of these 4-gear cars up close. So basically, all they did with these two right here. So this was really the only original one out of the whole deal, the Wonder Bread. What they did with these two. Sorry about the selfie light. Yeah, there we go. All they did was make them a chrome. And if you kind of remember, I wish I could point it out and grab them, or at least move the camera if I had up on my wall like I did before. Hey, Mayor. Yeah, Gale Force, you got mentioned exactly for the same reason on that notification, because that very same thing had happened to me. I just received it when I started bitching about it whenever I talked about it. But what I was saying is if you remember those Vegas cars, that's what this reminds me of, with different colored chassis and different colored wheels, but it's the same damn body is what it looks like to me. But, whenever I get the unpacking done, then we'll be able to compare those side by side and check it out. So just seeing a lot of other places, websites, and seeing what is sold out and what's still available kind of tells you what is the more popular of a particular series. So in this case, you can usually buy these two cars all day long from almost everybody. It's this Wonder Bread, the Don Schumacher, the 73 Plymouth Cuda there. That one is the one that's sold out in a lot of places. So that's the one, that's what tells me that is down the road. If you were looking to buy these as a collector, that you're probably going to pay less for these two than you will for that one, because that one sold out quicker, aka the Candy Striper. So keep that in mind if you're a collector, or if you're not a collector and you happen to have these cars, just treat them with a little better care if you're thinking about maybe selling them down the road, because people like buying them even if they're used, if they're in good shape. So keep that in mind. So that's why I got these, obviously, because the Hot Wheels variation, I needed that for the Hot Wheels theme that I'm trying to collect as much of the Hot Wheels stuff as I can, so that I can make sure that down the road, that if something, for some odd reason, this one becomes popular or that one becomes popular, I've got the whole series and I can sell the whole series for a lot more than I could for just one individual car, as we'll find out here shortly. I'm thinking that one of these boxes is going to show us. So very cool investment. That's what I did. Got them at a really good deal. So that's the best way to buy those series, is try to buy them all at the same time from one vendor. And then I'm a tight ass, so I try to get the cheapest price when I know it's just hanging on the wall. And yeah, because I know it's going to be there for a while. So I love my Hobby Lobbies. And if memory serves me correct, I think Matt with the Patriot Hobbies just posted a video. I think I saw something pop up on my phone about going to a Hobby Lobby. And if you're not familiar with Hobby Lobbies and you've got one in your area, I strongly suggest you go check it out, because you can. It makes buying those extraction cars for reasonable, because you're going to have to put money into them to get them really run right or keep running. And you only have to spend $20 to start, is what I call starting money. And that's one thing I'm going to do is kind of a cost comparison on what it costs to upgrade a one chassis versus another chassis once the track's running, and then show you what you get with your money performance wise on my track. So like I said, got a lot of big plans, just gotta get it up and running. So until then, I get to bore you guys with stuff that I've added to my collection, and this one's bringing a smile to my face already, just because this is something that you're going to see a lot of right now, just because a lot of people already have these cars, but what they don't have is in this little box. So that's a nice little display for them. It'll look cool on my shelf. And once again, the Hot Wheels cars, I don't know that they've done anything different with them other than put them in this package because they weren't selling individually. Yeah, like I said, I've already got the cars. I don't need the cars. I bought it just because I knew what it was, and the vendor that I got these from, I've dealt with a lot in the past and helped me. He's in fact helped me get the collection, a lot of it started. So that's where I was able to invest in two of the bad boys versus, just the one. That way I can put one up on the shelf to display, and then one of them to um, go away with the other stuff that I call my retirement money. So better than a 401k. Sometimes, depending on the stock market on that day. Uh, oop, oop. See, I use that as the background on the computer, and then I set that thing down, and it triggered it. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, so let's put that down. And I'll get these in order. And here we go. Here we go. Same thing. This is a different series. Yeah, all three. Legends of the Quarter Mile again. I'm trying to see if it'll tell me what series it are, but makes no difference. There's three of them in the series. Once again, I collect the 4 gears because I like the cars. I like the detail. I like the old ones. I like the new ones. Trying to get it where it's not glaring on you guys. There we go. So once again, they just played with the roofs with instead of flames, or they got flames on this one instead of the stripes down the middle. Like these remind me of the set cars from my set that I have. And then the down here is the one that's the collectible one. Big Daddy Don Garlits. Yeah. And so, believe it or not, there's 2 versions of this too, because they just couldn't live well enough along with the Don Garlits license. So, once again, it's not. I'm not going to buy 2 of these, but it was worth having one because, like I said, it completes my collection, or continues to work on my collection with the 4 gears and the drag racing theme with the funny cars, old and new, pro stocks, old and new, and the Top Fuel dragsters. And if you viewed my channel and somehow in some small universe you've not seen Dan at Slot Valley Racing's videos lately about his drag strip that he's built, you need to go check those out. He has got a kick-ass drag strip, shows you how he built it, shows up. Yeah, I can't wait to see some cars running, Dan. No pressure or anything. You're farther ahead and you're building your track as you go, making videos than I am right now because I got to be moving right now. That's why I'm putting everything back towards the box because it's going to go right back in the box because, like I said, start moving in 2 weeks. All right, let's look at some. Yeah, see, Mayor, if you got one open, then like I said, if the prices are cheap enough for you right now while they're out there on some of these cars, now's the time to buy it if you think that you want to try to hold on to it. And guys, like I said, as a collector, I can't sit here and tell you what car is going to be popular 5 years from now. I can just tell you based on my personal experience and seeing what the prices have done to certain cars and certain series that I have purchased. And then obviously based on my knowledge of licensing, that's where the Hot Wheels stuff comes in. Because like I said, that even if I wasn't a Hot Wheels fan, even though I am, even if I wasn't, if I was an HO collector, I would still, if I collected any Auto World, I'll put it that way, because some people don't collect any, they don't touch Auto World. But if I did collect Auto World, then I would still collect these cars, even if I didn't like Hot Wheels, just because I know, because of the Hot Wheels branding, the loss of the license, even if it's for a year or two, these will be the ones that were made when they lost the license, and then the new ones will be the comeback. So there'll be copies of this. So the real collectors down the road would want these versus those. So just throwing that out there. Like I said, just sharing what little knowledge I have and trying to help out all at the same time. So here we go. Here's my example of cars that are going for a ridiculous price now, that if you have in the box, in the package in the future, you're going to want it. And obviously it's this bad boy right here. It's the Candy Striper. I know everybody's already seen it a million times. I know everybody's already seen all these a million times. And what you see is these for sale everywhere. And if you see this one, particularly on eBay, they want, I've seen it for as little as 50, and right now there's one on there for 90, 80, $80, sorry. So $80 for that one car. Well, I didn't pay but another 40 bucks for all four of them shipped to my door. And that's already, so, that's the high side. That's the guy trying to gouge people. But there's my example of down the road, if you're a collector, if you have one of these in the package, you're going to be glad you did, because there's going to be somebody like me or Dan or the mayor or the Patriot, any of us that collect these cars or have a larger collection. Mark, Mike, everybody. I mean, Chris, Blue Spring Wasteway, something like that. Yes, it's insane. The value when we're collecting what these will pay for now. And what I tell my buddy is, and how I explained to him, and how I justified buying two, and that's why I'm not even going to open that box, because now that I know what these are, which one it is. So I got two of these, and it was just for this very car. So that way I could have a whole complete set to sell down the road. So I'll just leave it in this box and label it. And then these will go on the wall. And then somewhere down the road, there'll be somebody like me that says, hey, those are really cool. I'd like to have that whole series. And then if I'm so inclined and I'm doing it at the time, then hopefully those are the ones that they buy are for me. And so I've made a nice little, good investment. So like I was explaining, what I give to my buddy is $120 to my door for all four of them. Even if I only paid 50 bucks for this one, I'd still have to buy these other three. And the cheapest I've seen that is $90. So if I spent 50 on this, that makes these together 140. Well, that's a, silly math. So it's just smart math says do this. Okay. So 4 years ago, when I got my track up and running, and we got tired of the Mega G Plus motors burning out, at the time, Scale Auto had the 962 Porsches, the four of them, on sale for 25 bucks a pop. And so I asked the other three guys, I'm like, hey, do you want me to order us, one each of those cars? Because I already had them on my wall, so I already had mine. But I was like, those would be pretty cool to race for 25 bucks, because he was just blowing them out. And in hindsight, I really wish I would have bought more, but it is what it is. At that time, I wasn't really that. I was in the denial mode of collecting. I didn't think I was a collector, but in reality, from the outside looking in, based on what I'd already purchased, I'd already become one at this point. I just hadn't realized it yet. So anyway, we bought those cars for 25 bucks a pop. Now you can't touch those things. 80 to 120 bucks, depending on the day and the time of year, and if it's brand new in the package or used, or 25 bucks, 5 years. Just saying. Johnny Lightning, White Lightnings. Now, see, those are going to be more popular with the people that are hardcore collectors that don't care that the chassis were different than the Aurora original Aurora T-Jets were. A lot of purists, it's my understanding, a lot of, because I'm not a purist, I guess you'd call a slot car whore, because if I like them, I buy them. I'm not stuck to one chassis or one brand. So there are some purists out there that won't touch anything unless it's original OG Aurora, period. And so they look at those Johnny Lightnings as blasphemy. But there's other people like me that still collect some of them because I think it's pretty cool to see the evolution. If you watch my Batman video from way back, you'll see the evolution from I think it's the Playing Mantis, and how they got the license from Tomy to produce those. So, and then how Auto World was, how they bought into the license to be able to do the Johnny Lightning stuff, and then that's what started the 4 gear. The original 4 gear cars were 3 different Batman cars. Oh, Zim's Aquatics. Yeah, no, that Fighting Irish. I'd love to have that funny car. I'm really like to have, and I know Mr. Robert Fish, if he's watching this video, Fry TV, to any of you that are interested, he has a YouTube channel also, so I go by and support him. We're looking for that the Nitro Fish, which is labeled incorrectly, by the way. It's labeled Tony Pedregon, and it was really Kyle Koretsky from back in the day. Yeah, I really wish I'd have seen it on the Auto World whenever they were trying to sell it. See, the problem with the Auto World store is they'll let anybody go in there and buy as much as whatever they want to buy. So there's a lot of these resellers that go on there and try to buy chunks of those limited run 3-car packs. And they had a limited run of the Jungle Jim funny cars that they did in 3 different liveries that were separate from the 2 different liveries that you could buy individually, but they came in the cubes, 4 gears. And you could buy those for $100 plus shipping off of Auto World. And now you can't touch those things for like less than $250, $300. It's insane. And they buy them all up. So you don't even have a chance to try to get one. They got some cool 3-packs on there now, though. I will say that. I'm going to put some of this stuff off to the side. Yeah, see, Dan, the Nitro Fish. Yeah, see. Yep. I found it on eBay. They want like $80 or $90 last time. Last time I saw it, and I haven't seen it on there in a while. I think someone actually ponied up and bought it around the holidays. Even if I don't buy cars, I like to see if someone else is willing to fork over the cash just to see if that's what the, it's like if you've watched any of the Pro Tinker Toys live feeds, Brian, whenever he's doing his auctions, and it's true. And I'll just reiterate it, and that is cars are only worth what people are willing to pay. So, as a person that buys and resells and tries to collect for future investment down the road, it's important to me to see what people are willing to pay for certain cars. And then that also tells me what kind of cars I need to be investing in if I see a trend with a certain series of cars that are selling quickly. So, just saying. It's not real hard rocket science. You just got to pay attention to prices and inventory, because all of these Hot Wheels cars and branded stuff, as soon as the word gets out and inventory starts going down, the prices will start going up, because they'll say limited edition, no longer made, because anybody that collects knows that Auto World's going to puke out at least 6 colors of the same car and call it new, and then make you buy the series just to keep up if you're a collector. So Mattel did us all a favor. Kind of disappointed on one hand and happy on the other, because that leads me to believe, and then real quickly, and then I'll open this bad boy. is, if I remember correctly, during Dan at Slot Valley Racing's feed, someone mentioned that they hoped that that signaled Mattel getting back into slot cars. And the optimist in me says yes, because they had to pay a royalty, I'm sure, as a percentage on top of sales to Mattel for the licensing right for all the crap that they sold with the Hot Wheels logo on it. I mean, that's just how licensing works. So you buy it, and then the parent company gets a little smidgen of every time you sell something with their product's name on it. Even though you did all the work, they have the name, the brand, they paid for a lot of things that are instill value in their product, and so that's carried on with their brand name, and they're going to charge you to do it. That's why NASCAR charges so much for licensing fees, and that's why companies like Aurora Race Masters does not pay those fees, and they come up with different names for similar looking. They don't call them NASCARs, they call them stock cars or stock car racers or something like that. But we all know what they are, but they don't want to pay the NASCAR licensing fee, which is outrageous because NASCAR thinks that having NASCAR is going to make it sell more. Yeah, not so much. You know, here in our hobby, whether it's branded NASCAR or not does not make me want to collect it more than another right off the bat. I mean, it would help if it's an older car that like an older Earnhardt or something like that that was officially licensed by NASCAR, but something like that. So you get the drift. I am hoping that and will in turn make them want to jump in, even if it's just a little bit, just to test the market, because their little bit of testing the market is huge because of their global presence. And it's not just Hobby Lobby, it's every retail outlet. And so, when they order a little bit, it's really a lot. And that's why there's still warehouses still selling stuff that they found from Tyco that was made 30 years ago because there's so much of it made. But you got to remember, after 30 years of kids and people buying them and selling them and racing them, numbers, even when that mass produced, they just keep shrinking. So that's what led to this purchase here. I already know what this one is because it's pretty obvious that it's not a big box of cars. I'd like to think that it would be, but I'm not nearly wealthy enough to do that. I mean, if I won the lotto, don't get me wrong. So to keep up with so all my ramblings, a lot of this is kind of like a geared towards collectors or people that maybe have these cars that even if you've opened them up and played with them, like the Mare or Gale Force, it's not going to prevent you from enjoying the cars because, like I mentioned, every 4-year car I have that you saw in my cases, they have yet to be ran, but you just heard yet because I intend to race them. Now, when I do race them, am I going to take care of them? Well, hell yeah, because some of those cars have already over doubled in value since the time I purchased them. But I bought them because that was my whole idea. Is I wanted to see that car go down the track, but I didn't want to buy 2 of them like I did with a lot of my AFX stuff because I knew that the times that I drag raced versus the times I raced on my tabletop track were going to be, skewed one versus the other. So if you go to the Auto World store, if you remember on one of my Look What Scott's Got, I got those limited edition Pro Stock cars, and the Grumpy Jenkins and the Dino Don Nicholson, which I'm happy to say that I've got to see both of those drivers in my lifetime, several times actually when I was younger. So that was pretty cool to get those cars. And the only way you could get those cars is off the Auto World website, or if you wanted to pay more money from somebody milking it on eBay, then you could do that. Well, obviously, I went straight to the Auto World store because they give you cool stuff like this. Instead of charging you for the magazine, they just give it to you. And that's really cool. And then if I check out their store once a week, and there's a reason for that, and I'm getting ready to explain. Oh, cool. And they also give you a lot of cool shit that's extra. Pardon my French. If you remember last time I got that stuff from them, I can't remember, it was a Corvette of some kind. But this time they gave me 3 stickers. Gave me an old gasser. That's pretty cool. Looks like what, a Chevy 2 maybe? Yeah, I think so. Have to look it up. I'm not sure what kind of front end on that older truck is, but it's probably a type of a street rod. That's pretty cool. And then this one, now you know me in licensing, so this little sticker will be worth a little bit of money somewhere down the road just because of the very 2 words on there, Coca-Cola. Anything Coca-Cola, there's collectors out there that do nothing but buy the stuff that says Coca-Cola. So there's a market for this. I don't know if I got it for free. So if someone paid me $5 down the road, then that'd be $5 more than I, had. So that's the way I look at it. So that's pretty cool. So that's one of the benefits of ordering directly from Auto World and the exclusives. And not only do they have exclusive cars, here, I'm going to throw that up there, exclusive tracks. And this one, if you have the money, I would strongly suggest, if you are a collector, it's on sale right now. And they only made 750 of these drag sets. Yes, me too. I love it. Reminds me of remember I earlier in the video rewind, playing with Hot Wheels. Well, I used to set up those old Hot Wheels tracks that had the doorknob hangers that you could use, look like a little vise that you screwed onto your doorknob. And then I'd run a drag strip all the way down the hall and then put a pillow down there, and I'd drag race my whole Hot Wheels set, every car, it was, yeah. So I grew up doing it. So seeing that was just like, deja vu. And of course, they're taking that Hot Wheels license with the snake and the mongoose again, as you can see up here on my promo video. They've taken it to the extreme again, and this time they've decided to put it on drag buses. And so what makes this track unique to them is you've got the full 360 loop. So you could, theoretically, you could use it as a drag strip and an oval track if you were so inclined. And yeah, I was going to say, and here I'm going to stand up and try to look at the camera. Yep, there they are. Okay, so these are what they call the chrome versions. And these, if you remember, are like the ones that they had with the funny cars from Vegas, from that show, the SuperCon show or something like that. And so they did that same theme with these drag buses. So with these 2 drag buses and the complete loop track, and it's all in orange, that's what made this track so valuable. Will make it valuable down the road. Because I have no intentions of opening this bad boy up. I thought that they would do it the old way, where you could still open the boxes, but nope, they glued this one down. They don't want you. Yeah, they got tape on both sides, not glue. Sorry, my apologies. But I've already got drag strips. I didn't need another drag strip. But if you're going to collect the Hot Wheels stuff and you're going to collect the 4-gear cars, so I thought about just buying the set that wasn't the special limited edition. And then I was like, for $30 more, that's literally the price difference. It was for $30 more, I can have the limited edition one that's only 750 of them made. So that's the big reveal there. And the reason why I spent the money on these Hot Wheels cars like I did with Auto World, it's not because I'm a big fan of how the some of their series of cars runs, I've found, and Dan is showing and proving it, that you can work on those 4-gear cars a little bit just by cleaning off the goo and maybe throwing some tires on them and truing them up like he's been doing, and they'll run okay. You know what I'm saying? They're not the blazing fast things like a Mega G Plus or nothing, but they are what they are. And if you accept what they are, and as long as they're consistent and run, then you're going to have fun with it. That's the whole reason why we're doing it, right? So maybe sometimes it's not always about how fast you go, but how much fun you have while you're doing it, as long as it's still fast and fun, at the same time. So, that's why there's a lot of people that like to do the fray stuff and that stuff like that. So let's see here if I can remember how we started this whole thing. Well, I don't know. I got too many boxes open. So we got these bad boys here. So I'll just start stacking them up. So there's one series, and if you'll notice, these are the ones that have the flames on the top and on the hood and on the trunk lid. I mean, they're cool, don't get me wrong. And if memory serves me correct, those are the 2 that came in the drag strip set. And so instead of making those exclusive set cars like AFX does, they allowed you to buy them outside the set and then threw in another car to make other people buy, which is the Don Garlits Snake, which is pretty cool. A lot of people didn't even realize. Yeah, the Snake 2, sorry. That's what's different about this one, because there's another Snake. I've got them both, and I'll show both the difference when I'm unpacking. But oh yeah, and that brings me to a thing while I'm putting these things up here, Dan. What were you referring to when you mentioned if I'd seen that they were doing the canopies? Have you seen some pictures of some new cars that they're getting ready to come out with? Because yes, I'll be buying them, because I have every single one of the dragsters that they put out, besides the ones that are only in sets like this. And 2 of your dragsters are set only cars from Mac Tools. Which are collectible. Oh, let me stick one of these up here. And once again, okay, so here's the example. We'll throw this out here. Okay, both of them the Snake. Okay, so we got white with flames, and now we've got yellow with stripes. Same chrome rim, same everything, but all they did was change it. So if you're a collector, they made you buy 2 of these. 1 of each of the cars. They made you, if you're a collector, do that. Don't get me wrong, that is cool. I don't know how they did that. I wish they'd do more stuff like that. But we're beating the same drum. We're just changing the beat a little bit. In my opinion. And I don't know, I'm not the end all. This is just my opinion. And everybody's free to have theirs, and I'm not going to disagree with anybody, because that's what's awesome about this hobby also, is we all have an opinion on what we like, what we don't like, and what we want to collect or what we want to buy. And bottom line is, it's still slot cars, right? That's the way I look at it. Okay, so we had the stripers there in yellow. So now they decided to chrome those up. So see, we're on the 3rd different variation of the same 2 cars. And the only difference on this series is this is the Don Schumacher Wonder Bread. And like I mentioned, this is the one that I believe is going to be the one that's worth the most money, because it's the one that's selling out the quickest. You can still find it out there, but there are places that are already sold out of this particular model, and that's the first clue. When you can find these 2 and you can't find this one on the same website, then there's something wrong. There's something there. And if it's not just one website, it's 2 or 3, then you're like, okay. I mean, I'm not the brightest guy, but something tells me that maybe I want to start trying to buy those now, because that the whole idea is if you're going to buy these cars and you're going to collect and hold on to them, the best thing to do is to buy them when you can get the best price, right? I mean, let's be real. So that 3-pack there, they got a sticker on them from the hobby store, I'm sure, for $34.99. I paid no $34.99. I paid $75 to my door for those three cars. So it's just all about buying it. So even if I use their price as an example, I'm already $10, $9 ahead from what it costs to what they're selling for, and that's what collectors do, is buy low and sell high. Hopefully. I've bought cars that have actually lost value, and you're like, how's that happen? It happens. All of a sudden, more cars pop out of the woodwork that weren't there before, and then all of a sudden, the market gets crushed because everybody sees what a car is going for, and then they start digging in their closet to try to find one. So then all of a sudden, which is a good thing because then it brings out more cars, but it's a bad thing if you're a collector because then you just watch some of the value of your cars go boop. But so it's a waiting game, as anything is. 401k is not a instant return on your investment. So slot cars is that way too. I mean, it's very rare that you're going to be able to buy a car and instantly turn around and make a really good profit on it if you're so inclined. And then the last but not least, here we have the last 4-car series, to my knowledge, that are going to be branded Hot Wheels, unless Brian or Ryan proves me wrong. It's the long game. Exactly. Yes. That's it. Exactly. Hey, Ted. Sorry, man. I was just now getting up there. Got on my little pulpit there and started preaching. Thank you for joining by. Thank you. I'm glad to be back, sir. Appreciate it. I saw you'd commented. I just haven't had a chance to reply, but taking care of the dogs after work, and then trying to make sure that YouTube was going to work this time without me having to do it 2 or 3 times or make a video like I had to do before. So, to the best of my knowledge, this is the last 4 cars from the Hot Wheels license series that they're going to produce. Because you got to remember, if the license wasn't renewed this year, then that means anything that they'd already had planned had to have already come from last year. So, by the time the approval process and then making it and getting it shipped. So, it'd be really interesting to see if they try to squeeze anything else out of that Hot Wheels thing, or if it immediately ended at the time of the contract termination to put new product out with their name on it. So kind of curious to see. But this is one of those deals where it's better to buy all 4, even if you didn't particularly like one or the other of the cars, just because cost per car wise, if you buy all four of them versus just the one little candy striper, like I said, I saved myself $20. So that's $20 in my pocket. That's $20 that I invested, towards one of the 3 cars there. So you see how I grow my collection, and that is finding those really good deals. And then vendors that I've dealt with in the past reaching out to me and saying, hey, like this one, I that's why I bought another one, is because he gave me a better deal on the second one. He said, if you're interested, I can do it for this. And so I jumped on it. And so that's why I ended up with 2 instead of just the 1, like I did with those 3. And then I got a good deal from this vendor, and that's why I got 2 instead of the just 1. Like I said, long game, like Dan said. And then the track, I had no intentions of buying a track. I had no intentions of even worrying about buying those chrome bugs. I was just going to buy the cheap non-battery like this one is. That's what's so funny, is this is supposed to be the deluxe full loop, and it comes with the manual start and the finish. So but the ones that have the battery powered ones are a little better. I guess they had to pay so much more for the Hot Wheels licensing and doing the track color different, that they had to cut some costs somewhere, and that's where they cut it. Just a guess. But like I said, for $30 more, I couldn't pass up the deal, because I can get one of these tracks for like $115, I think, shipped to my door. And I paid like 145 for this. So, 30, 45 bucks, 30, 40 bucks, somewhere in there difference. It was worth the investment for those little cars. Very budget friendly to get back into. That's why I was pushing the Hobby Lobby stuff, is because the for 20 bucks, guys, I've already got like one of those that I found at Hobby Lobby that I bought for, $20. Shit. Yeah. Even if you don't like their chassis, I like the bodies, and there's so many different. You got Jag Hobbies that you can put a chassis on. You put a Viper chassis on one. Um, the Hardin Creek series. He's got a Sportsman series of Vipers, and he's got his Super Sevens, I think is what he calls them, which I'm going to be getting some of those. We'll do a review once the track's up and running on those, because I do have seven of the Viper Sportsman series that he made. Irregardless, with those body clips, you can use these Magna Traction bodies on anything that you could use underneath an old Aurora AFX clip pancake body or chassis. I'm sorry. So if it has that old clip style body on it, then you're good to go with those. And then the 4-gear chassis, you can actually interchange the chassis and the bodies with the old 4 gears and the new ones. You just, on one way or the other, I can't remember which, you got to do a little tweaking. But regardless, you could still do it if you wanted to. So. See, Ted, these are not getting opened. These were the investment. I've already started down the 4-gear funny car, the older Legends, and then I've got a lot of the modern ones like Dan does in his Top Fuel and Funny Car Fridays, which I love watching. um, uh, so since I'm collecting those series of 4-gear cars, then they kind of forced my hand into buying this series, because even though 2 of them are the Magna Traction, these 2 would be the 2 that I'd be missing from my 4-gear collection. So if you're going to buy these 2, well, you might as well buy the other 2 and just get all damn 4, especially when this one is already going for almost double what it should be going for. So. Yeah. Oh, and my friend Ted, that and basically anybody that's watched my channel for any length of time knows that I've got my little healthy collection of stuff that does not come out of the case, to race, and these will be those. This is obviously since it's taped and not like some of the older Auto Wheel drag strips you could open up. And that's what I thought I was going to be able to do, is open up and get out that little clear card and hold it up and show off the bugs. VW buses, but since they put tape on it, then I'm going to have to display this whole damn box to show off those bugs, which I will do. So that will be on display at somewhere in my room. Hey, Zen, thank you for stopping by, buddy, participating. I appreciate your support. Have yourself a good evening. So let me ask you guys this. Has my purchase on this specific track influenced that you may purchase either this one or the other, or maybe try to get the other cars in one of the other series that I've shown to try to complete what you've had? Oh yeah, Mike, I'm right there with you, my friend. So like I had this one more or less, besides the one oddball Tyco that I forgot to show off again. Besides the one oddball Tyco, I am going to be having a look what Scott got, the AFX version, and it's going to be on all the AFX cars that I've missed out on, kind of like on all of these in that same time frame. And I'm waiting until the new red and blue, or whatever it is, yellow Camaro come out. That way I can get all of them, plus the Heritage GT40s, Ford GTs, I'm sorry. And yeah. Yeah, see, it's like I said, no, Mike, I get it. You have to really be a collector of a certain series to want to invest like what I just did there for the long game. Because just a casual collector, you could get away with doing one of those little threes and spend 60 to 80 bucks. And if you could just pack away those three cars down the road, like I said, one of the three is going to be more valuable than the other two, hands down. It's just the way it works with anything with auto, that Auto World does like this. And in this case, it's this Candy Striper car, but that's okay. You know what I'm saying? If it makes it worth investing in all four of them, if you can get that one to pay for what you paid for the other three plus that one, then that the other three are just bonus money. See, that's it, Mark. I have when you're a slot car collector whore like I am, whenever I collect, Auto World, I collect the Tyco old and new. I collect the AFX old and new, and then the Race Masters, the brand new, and then try to get as close to all the Mega G stuff that I can get, or the turbos, or the super racing turbos and stuff like that. And I like the going back and trying to get a lot of the Super G Plus series cars. It's just you've got to pick your poison when you're working with my wallet, and that's why I flip cars and do what I do. If you saw some of those cars on the background on the mantle there, all of those were purchases to clean up, make sure they run, and then turn around and try to make $3 to $5 on them. And that's how I pay for a lot of this stuff. It's not I don't have, even though I got a new job, it doesn't pay well enough to pay for all of this. I had to sell cars to offset these purchases. And so instead of having bonus money to play with from selling cars, I flip it and put it right back into my hobby. Or, yeah, it's my hobby. And it just turns out that my hobby can get pretty expensive, just like any other hobby. And if I was just to focus on one car series or another, I'm sure that I could have a lot of those types of cars. But I like to spread the wealth on. If I like the car, I don't care what chassis is underneath it. If I, like Ted said, if it's going to look good on the wall or in my case or how whatever it's going to look, if I think it looks cool, or if it's going to possibly be worth some more money and it's just moderately cool, then I'll go ahead and if I can afford it, buy it. Yeah, see, Mike, no, that's why I still reach out. And in fact, here, I'll show you guys. I was just in Hobby Lobby. Sorry if I'm getting close to the camera. And I'm a Mustang guy, obviously. You guys know this. I'm not telling you nothing you don't know. $20. Okay. Now, if you guys remember when I was doing my packing, I showed you guys my IROC series of these modern Mustangs that I put those Hardin Creek Sportsman chassis underneath. Well, see, I paid more than $20 for those cars a piece, and then I just basically took the bodies off the chassis, stuck the chassis back in the plastic, and then packed it away because I just needed the body for the chassis that I bought. So, that's what I plan on doing with this one. So basically, I paid $20 for a body. Yeah, see, I almost got some of those Chargers and Camaros and stuff, but then I knew that I needed to do this based on Dan's shout out, which thank you again for doing that, buddy. Um, that way I could focus on my purchases that I wanted to make with money that I had sold cars from and what I could invest in personally and still have food on the table and keep the lights on and the rent and all that good stuff. And so that's where instead of buying some of the AFX, some of these, like I was going to buy this series here, but all these others were just like, oh, I can wait. You know what I'm saying? Because they weren't selling out anywhere. That one Wonder Bread car and the one Snake car, like I said, they're selling out in places, but that doesn't mean I can't find them in 5 others. You know what I'm saying? But this Candy Striper, on the other hand, is sold out everywhere except for like eBay, or I found some on Amazon. So, but they all want, like I said, 50 to 80 bucks for the damn thing. So that's why it made me go ahead and go this whole focus on getting the Hot Wheels stuff, completing the series of the 4 gear cars that I needed for my collection that I already had going, and that's why I didn't get any of the new AFX stuff. But that's all going to be rectified soon. Just got to recover from this and sell some more cars. Yes, Mayor. No, El Camino. This one here is a Mustang. This is one you're referring to, Mayor. Gale Force. Yeah, beautiful color car. My buddy's California Special is close to that color. I believe his is a little darker, and it's got a glass roof and no Shelby stripes, or what, rally stripes, whatever. But it doesn't have that on there. But those are pretty cool cars. Like I said, just because it's a damn shame the cars look, their bodies look so good, and the chassis um, are so high maintenance. I've got, well, here, I'll just show you real quick. Okay. Well, this one's actually I'm going to keep, but here's the perfect example. Here's an old Magna Traction AFX chassis from circa who knows when, how old this thing is, because this should have a turbo or a Super G Plus chassis underneath it. To the best of my knowledge, and it did not come out with this Magna Traction. But my point is, I can stick a battery on this thing, and it's over 30 some odd years old, and I did, and it runs. I have not touched it. No oil, no nothing. Obviously, it doesn't have any tires. And all I did was just shine up the body, because I've got a Super G Plus chassis I'm going to put underneath it. And then this bad boy is going on the shelf. And then I have a pancake chassis, to play with later. And when I was referring to the Auto World cars, this is what I'm referring to. So any body like this will fit on a Magna Traction chassis if it came off of a chassis like this. So if you have an Auto World body that you like, but you hate the way the extractions run, then get you a Super G Plus with the clip, get you a Magna Traction without a clip, and run your Aurora with it, which is pretty cool. But what's even cooler in it is my point. This car's that old and still runs. I have pulled Auto Worlds out of the package brand new that didn't run. I pulled one out that didn't even have a damn spring underneath the shoe. It was just flat. It had fallen off. How does it fall off? In the box, in the bubble. Yeah, I'm just saying. And I get it. It's a compromise. That's how they can sell it for 20 bucks. Or, at Hobby Lobby for 20 bucks. I get it. I get it. But honestly, I'd rather pay an AFX price and get their quality and looks if I can afford to do so, So I get it. This is a turbo, a Tommy turbo, sorry. This is the Benetton Ford. Pretty good looking car. I got a good deal on it. But the reason why I'm pointing this out is this is a 88, 89 car chassis, original shoes. This thing still runs. That's the quality difference. Just throwing that out there. Just got that on the Tyco. Yep. Those. Oh, so did you get, okay, so when you said that, Mark, was that, did you get the, what they call the F1 version, or did you get the Chaparral version? Because there's two different versions of that type of car with Tyco. And the rarer of the two is the Chaparral version, not what they call the F1 version, in case you didn't know that. F1. Okay, yeah. See, that's the one that I have, and every time I see one on the Chaparrals versions, I'm hoping that I'm able to get a hold of it at a reasonable price. But then other people like me that are trying to collect that version of that specific body in that livery uh, shoot up the price, and they eventually put it out of a place that I don't want to. Like I said, I've got other cars that I'd rather invest in. So rather than spend $80 on one car, I'd rather spend $90 on four, as an example, or three. You know what I'm saying? If I know I'm going to be collecting them down the road. Oh yeah. Oh no, no, no. In fact, um, there's a vendor that shows up on eBay every so often that I guess they go scouring the warehouses in Singapore, and they find new old stock of stuff. And at the time, I bought a bunch of one of the versions of the Marlboro F1 bodies and the um, that Benetton version with the F1. And I'd bought 10 of each of those bodies, and I had bought 10 chassis. And so I just mated them all together, and I sold like 8 of those things for like $30 a pop, and I only had like $20 in them. And that's, if my memory serves me correct, when I did that, that's when I flipped that money and bought those Hardin Creek cars. Dan nailed it right there. Best value in sets. So I'll throw out another value example of someone that's thinking, I don't want to buy this whole set, but those buses are cool. I'd like to have those to try to collect. So the cheapest I've seen you can buy these buses, unless someone's going to cut you a deal that they're not listing to the general public, is $100. I just said you could buy the straight track only with the normal buses, like they're in these pictures back here, and in my video. That's the difference in the two versions. That candy chrome and the tires versus the paint, and you can buy that set for $115 complete. So shipped to your door. So for $115, you get the whole damn drag racing set and those two things, or you just spend $100 and get the two damn cars. So it's kind of like that ice road frozen highway, I believe, Dan, that you were ripping on Auto World hard on. which honestly, sitting back and listening to me watching your videos is funny whenever you're ripping on them hard. But those two trucks, as you know, I collect the Auto World tractor trailer series, and I've got all of those, and I try to collect their the little specialty versions if they have a chrome or a chase version or whatever. But I need those two trucks for my collection. Well, once again, eBay 89 to not call it $90, 90 to $100 for both those trucks, or spend $120 for the whole damn set. Well, obviously I don't need the set. Obviously I wouldn't buy it after I watch your review. But I don't want the set. I want the trucks. But it makes financially no sense whatsoever to spend $15 or $20 less for just two vehicles when I get the whole damn set. And then if I am so inclined to sell, then I can put the damn cars back in the set and sell the whole damn thing and make more money than I could if I just sold the trucks. So you wired those trucks to the track. That's funny. So I guess did you replace the lights so they don't melt? Horsepower shootout. Yeah. Yes. I'm sorry. But Stockpile Hobbies, will tell you. Dan will tell you firsthand. I believe Troy has had this issue with Slot Car Crazy. If memory serves me correct, maybe it wasn't him, but I know somebody else has. Maybe it was All Scale Slot Cars. I don't know. I watch so many different people's videos. Anyway, there's been more than 4 different YouTube creators that have had bodies melt from having the wrong damn bulb in one of the flamethrower cars or the truck. And the only thing I kept thinking is why have I not seen the lawsuit for the fire? Because somebody's had to watch one of those things catch fire. And, you know, yeah, with LEDs, yes. No, they should have made them with that in the first place. It's kind of like these drag sets. You know, you and I have um, spoken our piece about this before in the past, but making electric slot car sets that require any batteries is just mind-bogglingly stupid. It's an electric fucking track that you plug into the wall. Why are you making me buy batteries? Horsepower shootout, yes. Jumping there with us too. I the new, you know, amazing the light still works. I'm amazing the car runs the way they wired it, the way the springs shoot the car up that it would even take a corner without trying to roll off the track. If you just put the flamethrowers on the shelf, they won't melt. that is oh so true, Ted. U of M. That is yeah. Oh, oh. It's like telling me, Scott, if you don't drink this Mountain Dew, your chances of getting diabetes decrease exponentially. And to them, I say, well, you know, something's going to kill me. I might as well enjoy the ride. There's a method to your madness. You know, I'm right there with you. I look at some of the people's collections and I see some of the cars they race, and then I'm thinking to myself, oh, I want that in my collection. How can you be racing that car? And I'm like, because that's what they bought it for, dumbass. It's kind of like what you buy your cars for. I'm sure somebody's watched one of your videos and gone, why did that dumbass put that on the wall and not race it? Which I've been called several things because of doing that. And then I've had other people go, why are you racing that car? You know how much that thing's worth? So it just all depends on what side of the fence you're on, you know, and what you bought the car for. uh, Flamethrower, yeah, literally. Literally and figuratively. Little did we know that was maybe their marketing scheme is to get a few of the cars to melt themselves, and then hopefully you think, well, I need to buy another one of those because this one got trashed. I don't know. That's what's so funny. Oh, see, I was talking to you guys. This is the stuff I have missed just sitting back and laughing and talking about slot cars that in a long time. So thank you to everybody that stopped by. I appreciate it. This has been good for the heart. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, back in the saddle again. Yes, thank you. Yes, Rich. Thank you for stopping by, sir. Oh, trust me, Steph and Mike, both of you guys. I've missed everybody, man. I mean, it's amazing how I think I commented on somebody. I answered everybody's comments that I could get to. Like I said, there were so many that I had to go back from previous videos since I hadn't been able. Yeah. Um, I said it's like the old saying: you don't know what you've got until it's gone. And you know, my friends know that I talk about slot cars a lot. You know, people I work with know that I talk about slot cars. My family knows I talk about slot cars. You know, I talk about slot cars and racing and a lot. I mean that, you know, in sports, you know, I'm your single male that pretty much covers all the alpha male type activities, you know, football, baseball, you know, I'm wearing a motocross, you know, hoodie. You know, if it's racing, I'm in it. You know what I'm saying? I love it. Um, but just knowing that you've made these kind of friends through this medium of slot cars, of just something that you like to do with people. Like I said, I've made friends at the drag strip, but that's in face to face. But honestly, I feel like I know some of you as well or better than I know some of the people that I thought I knew really well at the drag strip. So that's how close this community is, and I appreciate the outpouring of concern and caring and well wishes that everybody gave me, even if they didn't, put it on the on my chat or something like that. They said somewhere like, well, hey, where's Scott? We miss him. That's appreciated. You know what I'm saying? It's just nice to know that A, you're appreciated, and B, you're part of a bigger community that everybody cares about each other. And that's really cool. And that's what I try to get other people involved with. And my friends are literally amazed of what we do and what we talk about and the things that we accomplish with what they refer to as complete strangers, because they look at it as we've never met face to face and shook hands and hung out and shot the shit and whatever. But we do that this way. And so it's kind of a new way of meeting people. I've met people that I am so glad that I would have never, ever in my life met. Because no offense, Dan, but my chances of running into you at one of your hobby shops or one of your stores up there when you were shopping would have been slim and none. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in middle United States. So my chances of going to your hometown and trying to buy something in Canada would have been zero. Travis, as an example, in Australia, he's really getting into the HO slot car stuff, guys. In fact, he's pumping people to go to Pro Tinker Toys on his website. If you check out his latest HO slot car news video, but that's what it is right there. It's a community. I mean, I just mentioned, all over the world. And, I got a person that I deal with in Spain. I'm sorry, in Portugal. What I'm saying? South America, Mexico. All of these people are all because of this hobby. They didn't reach out and say, hey, Scott, you look like a cool guy. What do you like to do? What I'm saying? I started this channel and this is what happened. And I couldn't be more thankful. Yes, Rich. I as much as I love watching sports, um, I'm physically past that age of participating in anything that's possibly going to cost me money by going to the hospital that I don't want to spend because I did something I shouldn't have been doing. Because, that's out of my age realm. That's not to say that other people couldn't do it. It's just saying that I've already got a bum back, I've already got a bum elbow. My chances of doing sports like I used to do when I was younger in my 20s, they've pretty much gone. So I pretty much like to enjoy watching more stuff that I can relate to, which leaves me on YouTube watching a lot of slot car stuff and drag racing and auto racing stuff. I've got YouTube TV and my DVR. I'm just set up for anything and everything racing. SCCA weekend, the Trans Am series. Hell, I set it up to watch the snowmobile races. Obviously the motocross stuff. I love watching that stuff. If it's racing, I love watching it. Just the competitive stuff. I watch the Block Pain or whatever it is in Europe, the DTS series. I'm sorry, DTM, and then I watch the Australian supercars. Like I said, I'm global. I watch it all. Yeah, see off-road races too. I wish I had more access to watch some of that stuff, because some of the stuff that they do out in the middle of nowhere with just two people and maybe a helicopter following them along if they're lucky. Pretty amazing stuff. Too fat now. As an example, took the dogs out last fall, and my small dog Buster saw a squirrel, and I had them both in one hand, and he decided he wanted to take off. Well, he decided he wanted to take off. German Shepherd decided she wanted to take off. So I can handle one of them at full bore by themselves, but when they both were on two different leads at the same time, is either go or get drug or let go. And I knew if I let go, my dog was going to chase that damn squirrel, and then the other dog was going to chase the other dog and not worry about the squirrel. She doesn't care about squirrels. The smaller dog does. So anyway, I held on for dear life, and then as I'm trying to pull back with one arm, I'm trying to trot along with him and try to yell at him. Out of nowhere, my left knee just said, "You know what? I think it's a good time not to hold you up right now." So as I'm running, I'm in mid stroke where your right leg is in the air and the dogs are pulling with a leverage this way. And I come down on my left knee and it decided it didn't want to hold my weight, and kabow. And I laid there, honestly. I mean, I took a facial and I planted myself, but I laid there and laughed. Obviously, I let go of the damn dogs. I was like, at that point in time, I didn't care. But I was like, Scott, you're not as young as you think you are. You can't run with the dogs anymore. So that was nature's wake up call to me. Hey, Jack, thank you for stopping in, buddy. Appreciate it. Long time no see, sir. Glad you stopped by. I'm having a fireside chat with my friends, as I told Dan, and I tell everybody I've got a lot of friends that this hobby has introduced me to, and on a personal basis, I can name like 5 friends that I interact on a consistent basis with. Um, but if you get me on my YouTube and my slot car channel, I've got however many subscribers are on my channel because I consider every single person a friend. And just like every friendships, the people that come and support me the most are the ones that are probably the most valuable. It's not that some aren't, all are valued. It's just that some are valued more than others. So, and that's where my friendship count grows exponentially. So I have a lot of friends, and I appreciate their friendship, and that's why I offer, as many of you did, if there's something I can do with the slot car world or outside the slot car world, if it's in my realm of possibility of doing so, then please reach out. I'm always happy to help a friend. And that's what I consider everybody on this channel that's, sitting here bullshitting with me right now, is because you wouldn't be here if you didn't, you wouldn't be a friend. You know what I'm saying? You'd be like, who's this guy talking about? Screw him next. So I know there's a lot of subscribers on my channel that probably just hit it for some of the content. They could care less about me rambling or my dad or whatever, the little fireside chats like we're doing now. But this is what I love. Rich, I've only seen a few of his videos, and every time he posts a damn video, he's eating. I'm just saying, every damn video. I mean, hey Ted, thank you for stopping by, buddy. I appreciate your friendship as well. Hope you have a good evening. Thank you for stopping by. So, Mayor Gale Force, while I had my track down, I thought it'd be cool to try to run some of those Carrera 143 and run the digital versions, and then you can get the wireless 3 sets of the wireless controllers that they had, and you could run 6 cars on a track. And I thought that would be really cool. In fact, I still have 2 of those sets left, but I didn't. All the wireless stuff I got rid of. These are just 2 of the analog sets. But so I thought I was, going to run those for a while too. So I invested a little bit of money, and the best way, like Dan and I have discussed, just even here tonight, is to buy sets. And so I bought sets for Winging a Prayer, kind of like I've done some of the older stuff, like if you've seen in some other videos, just to have for the collection part of it. But these were to actually use. But we never actually set it up. We never actually ran them and stuff like that because nobody wanted to start spending money on another series of cars when we'd already had so much money invested in these. And it's like I explained to somebody, I said, it's a hobby, but before you know it, if you start hopping up a car from just a bare chassis up and you're wanting to, really make it a runner, you're going to have close to $80-$90 in the thing just in parts, but on top of the cost of the car total. So you're looking at a pretty hefty little investment for some people to try to hop up a car, just one, to do that. And that's, like I said, I'm going to show some of the cost per speed gain value that you can get. I can't remember which video it was, but someone was they had gotten a bunch of their of the new Mega G Plus series cars, and they were running them on the track, and they had a lap timer, and it was actually showing the differences in how fast one car could be versus another. And then they went and did a Dan hop up. They put level 42 magnets and tires on it, and I think one of the three cars actually ran as quick with that modification as one of the other cars did without any. And so my suggestion to that the person on that channel, and forgive me, I can't remember which one, was to start playing with your tire heights and start with the lowest first and start using the factory magnets to their fullest effect and see what kind of lap times you can get and work your way up tire wise, and then start worrying about trying to put a 42 magnet or a 48 magnet, or in the extreme cases where you have a really good runner and you can run a taller tire and get more top end, then that's where a level 52 magnet will come in handy. You just have to run a taller tire to kind of offset the magnet strength, so that the benefit of the taller tire is it's going to give you more top speed. And so if you've got a longer track, you're going to have more top end even with the same gearing, just because of that tire. So that being higher off the ground, you're going to want a stronger magnet to try to pull it down, where a 52 might be too strong with a short tire. It might be the right strength for a taller tire, as an example. See, honestly, the only thing I think that they could even do remotely in digital would be a lane change. And I honestly think the HO cars are so fast that there's no way they could honestly get it to work unless it was like a 30-inch straight that was one piece that had a super gradual swing one way or the other. But I don't think that's ever going to happen. Oh yeah, no problem. No, because that's what I told him is, in fact, I'll throw out the same recommendation I did to him too, and that was Scale Auto. If you go to their website, he sells a tire, what they call a tire sizer, and here, I'll just show you. Got it right here. Keep it in this drawer. Yeah, he's got it labeled under the BSRT, but this is right here what you need to invest in if you're thinking about racing cars. And this is made out of aluminum, not some cheap ass plastic. And so what you would do is, we'll just show you right now. Take your car out, and then with how you want to measure your tire height is with it on the rim. So you basically just keep working your way down until you find your right size rim, and then that way you know what height you're working with. And so if you're trying to fine tune a car for speed, then you can start working on a height range and start looking to buy those specific tires heights to try to play with the magnet downforce depending on the strength of magnet. I will tell you this is, I had a Ford GT that I dropped down. I believe their tire sizes, I think, was like a 440 is what I ran. And I think the gel claws, an example, are a 0.445. Anyway, with the factory magnets and dropping it down like that, I was able to run as quick as I was when I ran gel claws with 42s. And obviously just buying one set of tires versus buying a set of tires and magnets, cheaper. So there's a cost-effective way, if you can afford to buy several different tire heights, to tune your Mega G Plus car and take advantage of your factory magnets. I also have a gauze meter, and what that is that shows the magnet strength, and that's something also that you can play with on those Mega G Plus magnets. I'll throw out another tip. flip them one side or the other and try to mark it in some way, even though they're chrome. And I see how you do yours, Dan. I do mine the same way. I've got yellow as level 42. I've got orange as 48, and I've got red as 52. And so basically, when I get them brand new, I just hold them out and I just lather them in that paint color. And then that way, at least some of it sticks on there around there and flakes or whatever whenever you're shoving it back in the little holding cavity so that you know which magnet that you have in there. And yeah, that's that's how I do that. That's how I do that with mine. That's like I said, just one of the tricks that I've learned to try to make those Mega G Plus cars run similarly. If you have a weaker, slower car and your buddies have a faster one, those can motors, there's nothing you can do to them. That's it. Oil them, but everybody's got oil, so um, you know you got to do something to them. So the only way that you can really do that is take away some of the magnetic downforce by putting in stronger magnets and just try to use the factory magnets to their fullest advantage by dropping the chassis down and then playing with the top sides or the low sides of the magnets. See which ones pull harder. Yeah, Mike, you can put stronger magnets in there. Yeah. Oh yeah. Jag Hobbies, I believe they have some hop up magnets. I know Viper does. I'm not sure if Wizard does or anybody else. I'm thinking you can even find some on Hardin Creek slot cars. Go to his website, Terry, and see him. Yeah. Oh no, man. That's what this hobby's about. I mean, I know that Terry sells actually. If you guys are into hop up kits, I know Dan, you had purchased a bunch of your stuff from Viper, but Terry at the Hardin Creek has a hop up series, so you can actually buy a set of traction magnets and tires to start off with, or something like that. And then that's like a level one, and then a level two, he'll throw in a set of motor magnets and traction magnets and tires. And then, he's got them leveled out like that. And then where you can eventually buy the lighter front ends on them, and you can buy different armatures and the strongest motor magnets and the strongest traction magnets that they have in a different rear end gear ratio to boot with some Delrin, I'm sorry, hubs to help a little truer. Yeah. Viper has 4 gear magnets, level 7. See, okay, so that's a good point. Uh, um, the way that the series of strength of magnets has been dictated varies, depends on the chassis that you're intending to use them for. Does that make sense, Mayor? So yeah, so there you go, the 4 gear double. So that tells me that they're saying that the factory one's a 3 to a 3.5, as far as pulling goes. And then their level seven doubles, is what they're saying that doubles it at. Now that's why the Tycos and those 4 gears, they have a different level rating versus like the Mega G's and the Mega G Pluses that have like a level 30, those Neo Beridium magnets or whatever. That's why they've changed their rating on them. So they've got two different ratings for two different types of magnets depending on the chassis that you're using. And here's the thing with doing your magnets, guys. You can over magnet a car and slow it down. And so that's why I tell people whenever I'm tuning the chassis, I start with the lowest tire profile first with the factory magnets and work my way up. And then I do the same thing with the 42s. And then I pop those out, and then I run some laps with the 48s with the different size tires on each one and look at the lap times. With my Viasu system, like the Mare has, and Gale Force, got the Viasu system, uh, is plug and play. And anyway, it's going to show you your fastest lap, and it'll show you averages, and you can look at every single lap that you've ran. And so if you run like the same, I run 10 laps per set of tires and magnets that I run. And then I kind of judge on what I like and what I don't like mentally, of like, oh, hey, I like the way that drove and came around the corner, or, ooh, going that fast was sketchy. It made a really fast lap, but it wasn't a comfortable lap. If I'm what I'm talking about. We all have that comfort level where you've been hauling ass and you're like, I'm going to push a little more. And then you see the car kind of twitch and you're like, oh, you knew you were just on the razor's edge. Well, that's the fastest. A lot of times like in real racing, that's the fastest way around the track when you're on the razor's edge. But when you're on the razor's edge, if you make that one little slip, so if you squeeze that trigger just a little bit too much one time and you're going around that corner, then you're deslotting and flying off. So, yeah, it's just a lot of testing to get one of your racing cars, but that's also a good way to even up if you've got a bunch of Mega G Plus cars that are varied in speeds. You can kind of dictate the speed of them, so you can slow down a faster car and you can speed up a slower car depending on what you do with its magnets and tires, to where they're all within a few tenths of each other when you're running in each lane as a comparison. Oh, see, Joe, I'm afraid you're going to be sadly disappointed because I've heard some bad things about those things already. I'm going to buy one just to try it out once I get on the track, because I have a Super 3 that's my track cleaner. It's so slow that when I put a set of lower profile tires on it, just so it helped clean each lane, it's my lane warmer cleaner. I can literally hold the damn thing wide open. It's so damn slow around my track, and I can't do that with. I probably couldn't do that with that 37-year-old Magna Traction I got over there. See, okay, see, once again, their quality control there, Mike. I've heard both ways. It's kind of like the Magna Tractions here and the flamethrowers. Some work, some don't. It's just so hit and miss. Where the quality with Mattel and Tyco, and then AFX and Aurora and Race Masters, it was just so much better that I guess I'm spoiled, for lack of a better term. And so when I can pick up a car that's 37 years old, slap some new tires on it, and it runs, and I don't care if I only spent $20 at Hobby Lobby and I pull the damn thing out of the package and it won't run, that pisses me off. Yeah. Just saying. Yeah, more negative than positive. Yes. See, but that's what's sad is it's not going to prevent me from trying one, just because um, it's nice to see other people's opinions and stuff like that. But I've already got one of them, so I'd kind of like to see the difference between the old and the new, and see if I can hold it wide open like I can the other one. Because honestly, that's what turned me on going to Hobby Lobby, was buying that. I believe it was when Casey Kane was first in NASCAR, or not, Chase Elliott was first getting into the Cup Series, and he drove Gordon's 24 when he first came in, if memory serves me correct. And that was the car that I bought for $20. And I was like, shit, for $22, I think, after tax, I was like, that's a steal. And I got it home and I was like, now I know why it was $22. The damn thing don't run. I agree 100%, Mr. Dirt. That's why I sit here and brag about my Tycos all day and all night, and I'll brag about AFX all day and all night. But I have a hard time about bragging about Auto World chassis as much as I will brag about the bodies and how cool some of their cars look, and the detail that they've done. Um, these cars look great. I just wish that the visual um, didn't outdo their performance so bad. Yeah. I guess it could be both. It could look bad and run like crap. So I guess at least they got half of it right. Oh yeah, no, Gail. See, there's it right there. Is I actually had somebody reach out to me, and he was wanting to buy some cars, but he didn't. he didn't realize that he was a Hobby World or a Hobby Lobby guy. And so he thought that every slot car company's cars were $20, right there. Yeah, see, 1999. And when I started telling him some of the prices of some of the AFX cars, and then I said I have some used ones, and I got some Tycos, and I got some new in the package, and I got some of this. And then I started telling him prices. He's like, "Why are you so high?" And I was like, "Well, high compared to what?" And he says, "Well, Hobby Lobby, I can buy cars all day for $20." And I was like, "Well, yeah, and you're going to get $20 worth of quality too." He goes, "Well, I have noticed that they don't last very long, and I'm always buying another car every time I go in." Thank you. Hey, Sean, thank you for joining in. Thank you. I'm glad to be back, buddy. Thank you for joining in and staying loyal. I appreciate it. Yeah, see, and that's perfect. I just don't want Auto World that is actually getting new people into the hobby to give them a bad taste of the hobby because of their poor ass quality. So, as an example, um, the guy that I worked with, if I had recommended to him that he bought a say that Ice Road Truckers set that Dan reviewed for his two kids, and then obviously adults have a hard time keeping those trucks on that damn track. So what do you think kids are going to have a problem doing? So do you think those kids are going to play with that track for the first time? They got it, yeah, and then when they can't keep the damn trucks on the track, you think they're going to keep playing with it? Think what they'll do is just do this with them and run them around with their hands? Yeah. So do you think that kid's going to want another slot car set whenever mom and dad go, what do you want Santa to bring you? I'm just saying. I don't want them to turn people off from my hobby because of their lack of quality control. That's where I come from. Aussie type racing coming out with Auto World, Mike. Yeah, Sean, exactly. Oh, cool. No, I have to go to their Auto World and look at their future stuff. Thanks for the heads up. I haven't been there this week because I've been trying to prep for doing all this stuff. Um, yeah, cool. Thank you. See, that's like Dan's watching Dan's video. That's how I learned about them losing the license for Hot Wheels, and that's what made me buy all of this. It wasn't because of their quality control. Same but different liveries. Well, hell, they even made the Snake and Mongoose tractor trailers. I've shown those off. I got a pair of those. I mean, they slapped this Snake and Mongoose on everything they could, and they would have kept doing it unless Mattel stopped them like they did, guaranteed. And so they would have kept milking this thing until finally nobody bought it. That's what would have happened until sales numbers went down. Yeah, that's as much as I describe when people ask me what I think about Auto World, I tell them it's a love-hate relationship. Really, it is. I love the fact they're in the hobby. I love the fact that they support the hobby. I do my part to help support them because they do support my hobby, and I think it's important to have more than just one manufacturer on a national, global scale. I guess is a better way of putting it. Being out there, being competitive in the market, because me as a consumer, that helps me out a lot of different ways. Not only the fact that I have a lot more cars to choose from, but I have different liveries that I can, choose, different chassis, stuff like that. So for all the positives that Auto World has, and then they take that extra step to make the cars look good and unique, like this Candy Striper. That's cool and unique. I like the way they did this kind of a matte blue for the Hot Wheels and gave it gold rims. That's cool. These are all retro Hot Wheels cars, but the liveries, they had to do that, right? The flames are nice and crisp and stuff. Like I said, they do a lot of nice things, and then it, it's very rare that I see a paint error. All I ever have problems with are the chassis. And so there's the one thing that just really gets me. I know it's a toy. I know that's what they try to tell you if you're a collector. Like, oh, you're trying to collect a toy, so you can't expect much out of a toy. Au contraire, mon frere, I can expect more out of a toy because there's other manufacturers, out there that are doing it. So when you look at AFX Racers, um, they're actually pumping out some really really good looking stuff. If you saw my last video that I did with their March releases of the Camaros and the Mustangs, those things are spot on looking badass. I just wish there was more of them. I don't want them to keep, like Dan mentioned, they're going to do like 6 different colors or maybe 8 of each of those cars. That's cool, but they're not going to do 40 of them like Auto World. So at least they're going to try to hit a color that's going to be likable for a wide swath of people. Collectors, we love it because then you can kind of look what we call the rainbow series of cars. You got all different colors. You can put them on there and make it look like a rainbow. So, but that's to appeal to different people. Now, what Auto World does is they'll do an A to B version. Like there's a green version of this Mustang, so they've done 2 of these. That's cool, but it's this almost this very damn same body is on. I can't count how many different styles of cars that they put that on. So there's not anything really unique about that Mustang anymore, except it's like a different little shade of blue than the other one. I'm just saying. Whenever I show my case again, I'll show you. There's a darker blue one, and it's almost identical to this, but I'm sure it's just a little shade different. And so that's why they did what they did. Called it something else. The covered canopies look great. Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you, Mike. Yeah, that's what Dan was talking about. I don't think he's still on here, but I may have missed him saying goodbye. But he had asked me if I'd seen those yet, and I hadn't because, like I said, I haven't been on their website since I ordered this bad boy last week. And then I got these from other vendors that I, like I said, dealt with in the past. See, I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with Troy at Slot Car Crazy, but I've just literally cleared away 2 of his videos from their racing. I get off on watching some of the racing. He was just at the Fray at Fernandale or whatever it is, and that's some pretty cool stuff. Oh, Sean, yeah, buddy, that red GT500, yeah. Well, I got to tell you guys what's going to happen. I'm probably going to end up buying 2 of the Camaros each, and probably 2 of the Mustangs each. One's for the wall, one's to put away for sale later. And then I'm going to buy another one each of the Mustangs because I want to have IROC series of those GT500s now that I know that there's going to be 6 of them. So that's going to be easy to put 4 different shades of color of Mustangs out there to race. And if they do that with Camaros, I'll probably do that with the Camaros too. Just so I'm not just such a Ford guy, because I mean those Mustangs look pretty cool, or those Camaros look pretty cool too. The Flamethrower Christine. Did it come in a bubble? Like this, was it part of their Flamethrower series? I forget. I'm sorry, Mike. If it's part of a series, then it's going to be a collectible in that series. You know what I'm saying? And it's not going to be, I wouldn't think, any more valuable than the other Christines like you see in my video there. I got the rusty version, the clean version. It's just like, come on, guys. Back in 2015. Oh, boxed. Yes. Yes. if it's they start getting cheap. That's why I love that they actually came out with this, and that's they start getting cheap with their 4 gear funny cars and Top Fuel, or yeah, the funny cars, because they used to come in the cubes. So if it's a boxed in 2015, Christine, that lights up, then yes, that will be more valuable because they didn't make very many of those boxed cars back then. You got to remember when those were being produced, slot cars weren't nearly as popular as they are now. I know it sounds crazy to say, but the popularity of the hobby, I've not seen it this popular since I got back into it. Christina's 70th slot car. Yeah. Oh no, I think I got one of those things to stick out on my display, just to have it out there as part of the grand parking lot for cars. That's where I got a lot of this these $20 specials at Hobby Lobby to use for the diorama on the track. I don't want any car or truck on my track that can't run. So that includes all the display cars too. So if they're there in the parking lot for people to represent how they drove there for the stands, then all of those cars in the parking lot are going to be able to run. So kind of like those ambulances that I said that I packed away. I got those two Aurora, the red and the white version of the ambulances, 4 gears. Those are going to be going on the track in certain spots. Obviously, they'll run. I'm trying to get one of those um, Mr. Goodbar ice cream T-Jet cars, but those things go for outrageous money if they come with them in any decent good shape. And then another one I want to try to get for the diorama is the Tyco US1 fire truck to stick on there. Yeah, Mike. No, no, any of those boxed series, um, like those six that I showed that had the in this video that was the promo video that showed the six cars that showed the alternate A and B version of the Scooby Doo, the Penguin Mobile, and the Ghostbusters. Those are all boxed, and that's why I got the A and B versions of those. Is for that very reason, is because that's the series of cars, and so those individually are even worth more money because they're part of that 6 car series and they're boxed. They don't hardly do that anymore. I mean, this is the exception to the rule. This is the first time I've seen them do box since Brian at Pro Tinkers started doing his stuff with boxes. And even then, they're not doing the cubes like that anymore. And if you remember in my video of boxing, whenever I was packing, I showed a Ghostbusters car that was in the cube, and I said that's a set car. That's how the set cars used to come, was in that cube, banded just like what you used to be able to buy the older 4 gear cars in. I really wish they'd go back to doing that. But well, yeah, Troy just posted another video. It's like our crazy. Uh, Matt, some do and some don't. So that's why you've got to make sure that if someone's advertising it as one and it's opened as an example, you're going to want to see that has the correct chassis and the body that has the slot for the bulb to go into. Yeah, I think those are those aren't those Vegas versions that I was talking about, Mike? Yes, Mike, I agree with you 100% because those things are cool to stack up for one, and it's a nostalgia to me as a kid, when I was a kid, because that's how I can remember going into Sears or J.C. Penney's, or God, I'm mentioning a couple of stores that are about dead or not already, just or hobby shops, and seeing walls of those cubes with different cars, Super G Plus, Magnet Traction. It's just, you just sit there as a kid and jaw drop. Yeah. See, Joe, if you could pick that thing up for 30 bucks, that's not a bad investment. That's not a bad deal if it's brand new in the package. If you could get it for the 30 or $35, $5 with another $5 shipping or whatever, that's not a bad deal if you're looking to collect. The way I look at Auto World cars, as soon as I see them start trying to get into the $40 range, even at the places that usually are less expensive, that don't try to gouge on the pricing real bad, because there's some hobby shops out there that go full retail and try to charge 50 bucks for these things like they do the AFX, the Race Masters. And like, you're dreaming if you're thinking I'm going to pay $50 for a Magna traction car when I can spend less than 50 bucks and buy me a AFX Race Masters. Yeah, Joe Dirt, then yeah. So there, you just heard where my cutoff limit is buying old cars, Auto Worlder cars. If they're not in the cube, if that's in the cube and it's lit up for 30 bucks, that's a deal. Deal. I just recently saw I got one of those the Dirty Harry series cars from one of the Christine series, um, and I only got like two of the cars out of the four, I think. And at the time, I bought that silly thing for like 25 or 30 bucks, and now it's going for 60. And I almost sold it just because I couldn't find the other two to go in the series. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'll never find the other two, so I don't want the just two out of the four. And I'm glad I didn't sell it. Oh yeah, there's a very good chance it's going to go higher than 30. But hey, like I what I always say is you never know until you throw it out there. So do like I do. I every Sunday night before I call it a night, I go through eBay and I go through every search that I have for slot cars, scrolling while I'm watching TV, in between commercials and whatnot. And I'll put a bid on cars that I really want or cars that are really inexpensive of a maximum dollar that I'm willing to pay. And that's why sometimes when you see look what Scott's got, I be like, well, I got all these cars, but I really didn't plan on it. It's because I throw a big net and sometimes I catch a lot of fish and other times all the fish get out of a big hole. So that's the best way I found to grow my collection and get the cars that I want at a price that I'm willing to pay. Because sometimes those auctions end at an odd time or day during the day or night, and people just forget about it, ignore it, or it ends while they're at work or whatever. And I've picked up a lot of cars like that, where they auctions end at 3 o'clock in the morning and nobody wants to stay up bidding that late. So they'll put in their max dollar, and a lot of times you can beat it and still get a good price. Yeah, see, Sean, that right up there. I'd like to have, the old Duke's car for you'll set the, like I said, the diorama. But I'm not going to pay that much for. I mean, I'd like to have it, but I don't. I'd rather have it. One of my there's several older AFX cars that I'd rather have and pay that money for than that car. Yeah, see, Matt, that's the thing, Patriots. It's so disappointing when you've got your dollar amount. But like I said, what I tell everybody is draw your line in the sand and just understand that you may have missed out on this deal, but there's going to be one that's close to it or better somewhere down the road. I have learned that in my 6 years of being on, actually going on 7 years this year, 7 years of buying and selling slot cars on eBay. Started out buying, and now I do both. Not just from eBay, I buy them anywhere and everywhere, and then try to sell them anywhere and everywhere. But I have noticed that there's been times that my paycheck can be like, well, it's either go grocery shopping or keep bidding. Well, I'm out. And then I'm pissed off because I'll never see those cars again. That was a great deal. Those were in great condition. And then I'll be damned if, 2 or 3 months later, sometimes even the same week, all of a sudden, poof, something similar pops up. And you're like, okay. So that's the one thing about slot cars I have learned collecting is it's always it's flowing. People are always buying, people are always selling, and the long game as far as patience goes, if you've got certain cars that you want to buy at a certain price, that if you're in it for the long game, and unless you just absolutely positively have to have it, then if you're in for the long game, then you can usually get it for what you want it for, close to thereabout, where you can justify spending the extra few dollars if it is out of their line in the sand, so to speak. Oh yeah, see, Lifelike. I did confirm that that is Terry. He owns the thing, but then you nailed it on the head, Mike. Lifelike wasn't that popular, even though they've got some chassis that run really good, and you can really make them hop up from. If you watch one of his Terry's at Hardin Creek's videos, you can work on those cars and make them run. Bad part is since they weren't as popular, there's not a. I mean, that would be for the like the what I would call the niche collector. You know, the guy that's looking for the rare, the stuff that nobody else is really looking for. But then that's a double-edged sword because if no one's looking for it, then how are you going to sell it to anybody that's interested? Because nobody wanted it in the first place. That's why you got it so cheap. So, yeah. Tyco has been around so long, and Aurora AFX has been around so long that those are just solid investments right across the board. But if you're wanting to go the Lifelike route, then you just nailed with the Amarak and older. That had some loyal following there on OGs because those cars apparently ran really well too. They just didn't make a lot of them. So, like I said, if I could, I'd get into the T-Jets guys. Um, I know it sounds crazy. I don't race them. But if I was a strictly just collector and I had the money, I would go into the T-Jet stuff if I was looking to try to invest for something on what I call short term, maybe 5 to 10 years, just because of the age group of people that are generally doing those cars. You know, like I said, that's a good flipping time frame. But honestly, I'm looking at for the 2 or 3 decades or whatever my age group, which was the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Because as we get older and more of us start getting closer to that retirement age, then we're looking for things that we can do that aren't physically demanding and that aren't going to put us in the ER or make us do rehab or miss work or something like that. And if we did slot cars in our youth, and all of a sudden you see it again or you hear somebody talking about it again, then you're more apt to get into it. So I think slot cars, as long as we can keep the hobby going, I honestly think Mattel is going to eventually get back into it, because the future is going electric, whether I like it or not, as far as cars go. Um, you know, by 2025, I think it is, or 2027, Ford is going to be the only manufacturer that makes a gasoline powered, petroleum powered pony car. Um, the Camaro is already dead, and Dodge is already committed to phasing out all of their piston engines by, I think, 25, 27, somewhere in there, as far as sports cars go, and going all electric. So, um, knowing that kids are going to be growing up with electric cars, it's easier for them to relate to a slot car because it runs on the same damn electricity as mommy and daddy's car out in the driveway. So I can see where slot cars become popular again with younger kids, um, just like little Hot Wheels and stuff would be, just because of that very fact. It's more relatable. But cars, as generally speaking, as a whole, the hobby as a whole, real cars 1-to-1. Um, New kids nowadays generation don't really care about cars. They're more, they use it. It's a utility tool of transportation. It's not of a point of pride or something to modify. It's more of just to get me from here to there and don't cost me a lot of money doing it. Yeah, Jack. See, Roar T-Jets. Those bring good money. Yeah, there it is, Joe. There's always coming out with something new and better. Oh, Mike. Yeah, see, I'd like to have some of those rat pink stuff too, but once again, you got to pick your battles when you're a slot car horror collector like I am. You know, if I was just stuck on Auto World, then man, I'd be all over, everything that I could buy with Auto World. But quality or not, you know what I'm saying? But I like my Tycos, I like my AFX, and I like my Race Masters, and I like my Auroras. You know, I grew up with those brands. I didn't grow up with Auto World, so you know, it's a lot of it's about memory. And plus, like I said, I'm not going to beat a dead horse quality. My old cars still run. Nice try, Auto World. See, Joe, there you go. There, that's exactly what I said. We're right there, buddy. I would rather have 5 cars for X amount of dollars of ones that I've wanted to add to my collection versus having one car that is maybe rarer, um, and just have it sitting in my collection. So I know looking at my collection, it doesn't look that way, but you got to remember a lot of those cars that I purchased were purchased before the prices went outrageous. So, like I told everybody when I started doing it, if I had to buy my collection again, car by car, I could not afford to do it, even doing what I do by flipping cars whenever I can. Um, there's no way I could. The prices have gone out of there. Um, you know, some of those Indy cars that I have, those Super G Plus Indy cars, they're going for over $100 a pop. You know those Mega G Indy cars, not the Mega G Plus Indy cars, the Mega G Indy cars, original 8. Yeah, those things pull down $100 all day, all day. So if you're getting all 8 of those, which in a perfect world, if you could buy all 8 of them for $100 a pop, that wouldn't be a bad deal because Bull, the only Red Bull that's on eBay right now is I think $600 for one car. Yeah, see, Jack, that's been my experience. I had my T-Jet with one of the T-Jets that I opened up, like I told you, for my diorama. It would actually outrun that Auto World. Like I said, the Super 3, I could hold that Super 3 wide open and go all the way around my track. Very first corner, if I tried that with the T-Jet, it flew off. Yep. Oh yeah, no guys, that's see, I have missed this so much. My cheeks hurt from smiling so much. So thank you to everybody that joined in earlier that left, and thank you to everybody that's still here now. I'm loving just chatting with you guys. But regrettably, it is a quarter after 9, and I've been on since a quarter till 7, and I still haven't had dinner, and I do have to work in the morning. But before I go, I do want to throw this out there. I am going to be throwing out a poll later this week. I mentioned that once I get to 500 viewers or subscribers, I'm sorry, then I'm going to do my next giveaway. And I need to know, I'm going to, like I mentioned, it's either, I'm either going to hop up AFX Mega G Plus or I'm going to hop up a couple of Tycos as the giveaway cars. So what I'm going to throw up on the poll is if whenever I do that giveaway, what car would you like to see given away? Would you rather see a hopped up Mega G Plus get built and given away, or would you rather see a Tyco 440 X2 get built up and then given away? So that's how the poll's going to be on that, because I'm not at 500 yet, but I got to start planning ahead because basically I gain around 20 to 30 subscribers a month, even if I am MIA. And so that puts me at sometime in April, which means that that's going to hit perfect for when I'm moved and relocated and unpacking all my goodies and going in reverse from what everybody saw me do the last time. So kind of keep that in mind and look out for that poll when I post it this week. Before I get off here, though, was there anybody that had any questions or anything that they wanted to throw out there, or anything that you guys want to talk about? Because, like I said, I'm willing to sit here for a little while longer, but I would like to go get some dinner. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, I appreciate that. Oh, okay. Okay. You were on Discord. Okay, that's what you were talking about. Okay, yeah, I'll have to get back on my phone. I think it put that app to sleep. Oh, no, thank you guys. I appreciate it. No, the good thoughts. Nobody likes talking about death, But when you have two family members at the same time, it seems like just they're playing hide and go seek with the Grim Reaper. Yeah, and it's immediate family. It's not like a second cousin or your third aunt or anything like that. It's right there. Your grandmother and your father. So yeah, it's very trying on you, especially when you've had everything else going on. So that's why I put in my comments to everybody. Thank you. I do appreciate the support because honestly, guys, you guys don't know how much that support meant every time I got to see an email from somebody reach out, or see a message on one of the videos, hey Scott, how you been? Or like Dan reaching out and Mike reaching out. And several people reached out, like I said, to my personal email and asking that means a lot because like I said, it's not like I can go next door and say, hey man, you got a minute for me to sit there and bellyache about my life right now? We have to do this like this. So I appreciate the concern and the outpouring that I got from everybody. Like I said, it was quite overwhelming. It still brings tears to my eyes even talking about it because like I said, it's just it gets a guy right there when you've got this what I would call a YouTube family, and that you mean that much to somebody else, and I just want you guys to know that you guys mean that much to me, and so everything that you've offered to me, I give back to you tenfold. So if there's something that I can do for any one of the people that are subscribers or anybody that what I consider friends from this channel, please let me know because obviously, I'm a family first guy, but I'm also the second guy right in line with that says, friends are first. So, family, then friends. So you guys are right there, 1, 2. So if there's anything that I can do to assist you guys in any way, shape, or form in the slot car world or without, or if you just want to bullshit, yeah, I can talk your ear off. But I am going to wrap it up tonight, though. Look for my poll to come out, and I do believe, don't hold me to it, but if everything goes correctly, then I am going to try to do another little something on Sunday. We'll just have to wait and see what life brings me between now and then. I don't want to commit anything other than that poll right now. But I am going to start putting out regular content again of at least 1 or 2 videos a week. And if it's, I was going to say 8 out of 10 times, it's going to be something live because I much more prefer the interaction, seeing what you guys are talking about and talking than just popping out a video and having to reply to everybody's comments. I love this interaction. That's one of the main reasons why I love this hobby. Again, like I said, just being able to sit down and fireside chat with everybody about a hobby we all love and chew the fat. So thank you again from the bottom of my heart to everybody. If you are viewing this and you've made it all the way to the very end and you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. Try to help be one of the people to get us to the 500 mark so we can get to that giveaway on my channel. As my previous past winners know, I am a man of my word. You get exactly what I tell you and show you you're going to win on the channel, and it doesn't cost you a thing. It's just my way of saying thank you for supporting me and my channel and keeping the hobby going because, I think more people need to know what kind of community we have, and if we had more people like us and in the United States and across the world, quite honestly, the world will be a lot better place for everybody. So thank you again. I'll quit rambling. Everybody take care. Light some sparks and melt some plastic. Thank you, everybody. It's been awesome talking to you all again. Have a good night, and we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.